I wish I knew how to quit you.
Then why don't you?
You're listening to Codependent Content, the podcast where we discuss the TV shows, movies, books, and video games in which we share an unhealthy relationship.
Speak, child.
I'm not human. I'm a positronic robot.
My name is Mattias. Join us as we try to unravel the characters, stories, and worlds that we are entangled with. Because just when we think we're done with content, it draws us back in. Welcome back, Morgan.
Thanks.
To the podcast.
Oh, let's go.
You missed the last one where we talked about F1. So my main question right now, have you been watching anything?
Well, I've been watching the show called Foundation.
Yes. Today, that's a subtle nod. We're talking about Foundation.
Yeah.
Which I asked everyone, what should we talk about? And I think people voted for a bunch of different things except for Foundation. But I'm talking about Foundation.
Yeah.
So.
I will say, to answer your question, no, I haven't.
You haven't.
I've been, I am a sci-fi fantasy nerd, though.
Yeah.
I've been reading Hyperion.
Ooh.
Which is a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say, aside from enjoying it a lot so far, I'm about 300 pages in of book one. There's a couple, but kind of shocked that IP still hasn't been made into a movie or TV series. It's fucking just so ready for film.
I
TV.
think we're really close to, and there's a bunch of sci-fi and fantasy books that I know of. Like there were a time, I think after Hunger Games specifically, maybe Harry Potter, where almost everything was kind of getting picked up. People were like, the studios were looking at books,
yes,
YA adaptations and sci-fi, right? These high concept things were popular for a while, and then superhero movies came out, and then IP became a big thing, right? I think we're going to slowly get back to that, especially as technology gets better, as we see that like the superhero fatigue thing kind of happen. And I think we're also seeing a bunch of like networks like Apple TV doing Foundation, or like HBO doing Game of Thrones.
Sure.
These things are going to get picked up more and more, I think. And with the popularity of like books happening and how they have been coming back, I think, in terms of popularity, especially fantasy and sci-fi, I think we're going to see more and more get picked up. I think there have been a lot of series that I've wanted to read that I feel like have been talked about or have been in early talks for. Yeah, this is probably going to be something soon,
For what it's worth, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I think that's cool. I'm ready for some fresh IP, not like necessary. Obviously, it's not original IP, but I'm like, I am very, very like sincerely superhero fatigued. Even though I hear Superman's great, but I'm ready to go back to literature. I think that's cool.
I'm want to get better at reading. Are you like a speed reader? Can you read pretty fast?
No.
Okay. No, I'm a slow reader.
My like foray into Hyperion is like an active choice trying to get better about reading. Yeah. Because I mean, I'm an actor, so I read tons of scripts, sides. Sometimes you don't get the whole script. Yeah. And then I read like, otherwise it's just like I read like articles, either newspapers or via Twitter or threads, like links and stuff like that. I very rarely sit down to read for the sake of reading. Yeah. So I wanted to get back into it. And I think I determined the thing that was keeping me away was that I felt this, I don't know where it came from, but pressure to read like, quote, important things, or like big things, right? And I was like, fuck this. Like, it means I just never fucking read. So I'm trying to like coax myself back into literature a little bit more by just saying, what really excites you, Morgan? And sci-fi fantasy tends to be my wheelhouse. Yeah, absolutely. I've been wanting to write, so I've been trying to read more and getting back. And I have a long, to be read list. Yeah. The last series of books I've been reading that I also have been very much like, I'm sure it's getting made into something, but I'm surprised it hasn't yet. And that's Red Rising by Pierce Brown. Oh. Me and my short list for me too.
Yeah, me and the previous podcast host would talk about that a lot. In fact, in Foundation, Lee Pace wears some armor at some point, and that's just how I imagine like all the golds is like all looking as tall and regal as Lee Pace in that armor is just if they can pull that off in Foundation, I hope. It would take a lot, as with most things. It's super expensive and stuff. But yeah, that's one of those that I'm hoping that will get picked up by something like HBO or whatever. It'd be really cool. For sure. But yeah, maybe we'll see some things. I've had to listen to audiobooks personally because I think I have to get through them faster. You know, one of the things for fantasy that I've been like, okay, I want to write fantasy, so I need to catch up on like the fantasy. I haven't been reading much in a while. And one of those is the Way of King series by Brandon Sanderson. And I'm like so slow in reading it. And I just and there's so many shows to catch up on. It's been wild. But yeah, I brought up also one of the things I want to talk about today is I asked you if you'd been watching anything. So you haven't been to the theater in a while.
No.
And let me tell you, this is more for me to talk about to the audience because I'm curious what people's experiences have been. The past two movies I've been to, Jurassic World and Superman.
Blockbusters.
Yes. I show up and I still like watching the trailers. I don't show up right before the movie. Trailers have gotten long. Like I get it. It's terrible. In between trailers, they have been showing no hate to Allstate, but Allstate commercials in the middle of trailers, like in between them.
Yes.
And I don't know when this started, and I'm super confused because we're already all pissed off about the length of the amount of trailers that we're getting and how long it takes before the movie starts.
I mean, look, if you're an AMC member, you know your 7:00 movie begins at about 7:45.
Right. It shouldn't even be that way.
Fucking nuts.
I used to be like, okay, 25 minutes after the start time is probably when the movie's going to start. Now it's turning
40?
into 30, 35. And this isn't just happening at AMC. Apparently my friend went to a Regal this morning and it's the exact same thing. So now they're giving us commercials in between the trailers. I don't get it. Are we okay with this as a society? Like, what are we going to do? Because I feel like they're pushing it too far.
I mean, they probably are, right?
Yeah.
I think that my counterpoint is advertise all you fucking want, but just tell me when the movie actually starts. Don't just be like, oh, it starts at 7. There might be 50 minutes of advertising. It's like, fuck that, dude. Just fine.
And one of the things I love about working at the Alamo Draft House is we were very specifically like, no matter how many trailers or whatever we put in our pre-show is exactly 30 minutes. Trailers and intro is exactly 15 minutes. Okay. Maybe 20, I think. Right. We always knew because we had to be very specific about like our start times because there's service. Food and drink, and we had to clean up afterwards. So we couldn't just have 25, 30 minutes of things. We needed to fit movies and fit very specific times. It's like running a restaurant, right? And clear tables and do all that kind of stuff, right? I don't like the amount that we get at AMC. And I'm a person that I try and show up early. I like watching trailers. I've always liked watching trailers. I'm getting tired of seeing the same trailers over and over again. And also it being 25 minutes long and now longer with advertising. Tell me, please let me know. What do you guys think of this? Have you been seeing this too? Is it just LA? Are we like a testing ground, because that could be a thing too, is that they're testing it to see if it works. Cause I don't think anyone's noticing. No one says anything during the commercials. I'm like looking around, everyone's on their phones, not paying attention anyway. And maybe that's why they're doing it. I have no idea. I'm so confused. I really hate it. And it's making me not want to show up early to the movie theater anymore. Anyway, that's the state of movies. I will say, speaking of Superman, I did watch Superman this morning. I might need to do an emergency podcast about that movie because
I gotta watch it. Yeah.
This is a very, very good movie, in my opinion. I gave it 5 stars on Letterboxd. I'm all in. I love this film.
Wow.
And it's the most human that they've ever made Superman, which is, I think saying quite a lot. I think it's a fantastic film. I think James Gunn knocked it out of the park. Everyone's doing great jobs. I think as an actor, you'll really like it because there's like a whole extended, like almost 10-minute sequence of just 2 people talking. I was like, man, this could be like a really cool like acting scene. It's like, this is like, normally in these big blockbusters, you like get like 2 or 3 minutes of like something, and it's just like information,
Even
and then you
then,
move on to the next scene.
2 or 3 minutes is generous.
Yeah.
I would say you get 30 seconds to 60.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, almost pure like plot, like, whatchamacallit?
Exposition?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? It's like very rare is it just like humans being humans talking about human things.
Yeah.
It's like, no way.
I've wanted to do like an acting class that's very specifically doing like the heightened reality, like you got to spout off this information in a realistic way, but also play a character, and these kinds of like scenes, that we see in big blockbuster films all the time. Because it just happens so often, and then you have to do it. I think that's where we get like faster and more intense as a thing. I think even Spielberg has used like things of that nature whenever he's like getting actors to just speed it up a little bit, because you just show up and you do your thing, right? And there's a lot happening all at once, and you just got to get it out there, right?
If you ever want to practice and you don't have like, a Marvel script on you.
Yeah.
I think the closest thing is procedurals.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That was going to be a part of it. Yeah.
Because it's like, it really is just like the, like the bastard stepson or something of like the superhero movie.
And a little bit more than like 5 lines, I think, right? But it's not that kind of thing. But I think that they don't teach you these kinds of things, right? They always want to get you to dive into plays and these scenes.
No,
but you don't get that often.
You go to acting school and they give you Shakespeare, Chekhov, Mammoth, and it's like, then you get out of college and you're going in for Chicago Fire and you're like, I'm just supposed to say, he went in the door on the left. I don't know if any exits are available right now. The water only comes on at 2 p.m. but on Tuesdays. And it's like, fuck, man. And then, your 19 or 22-year-old brain is like, how do I make a meal out of this? And it's like, hey, dude, it's not a meal.
Yeah, I think
you exist to let the audience know the stakes of what the main character is dealing with.
Yeah, I think we need more classes that focus on, say, the classics like Fast and Furious. You never had your car. We need Mission Impossible. I need you to trust me one last time. How do you make that sing? How does that come to life?
You beat Tom Cruise.
You just got to have it.
It ain't easy.
Well, those are some general asides. Thank you for indulging me on those things.
For sure.
But we're here to talk about something very near and dear to my heart. Just say it. We're talking about Foundation.
Yeah.
Season 3. Apple TV killing it in the sci-fi game. If you haven't been paying attention to what Apple's doing in terms of sci-fi, I feel like every sci-fi thing that they put out has just been like a hit.
Yeah.
I just finished Murderbot. Also really good. Yeah. Alexander Skarsgård just doing just some really fun work. He's a very serious guy. He's so funny in this series.
Really? God, I gotta watch it.
But yeah, this is spoiler warning. We go into pretty much everything with Foundation.
Yeah.
We don't hold back. If you haven't been watching season 1 or season 2, this won't be like a recap series. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able. I don't even have the knowledge to be able to recap it. I would have to.
It's tough.
Pull out a book, right?
In case you are for some reason watching this without having watched much, a couple quick notes. One, the show is like the closest thing I can give you is like Game of Thrones in space. Second of all, don't watch this. Go watch it. It really is awesome. And you like, I know
don't
it's
listen
like,
to the podcast. Is
right? No,
Go
for
watch
real.
It.
Watch it first. Watch it first. In my opinion, because there are shows where like, hey man, we're 6 seasons in. Are you really going to do the work? And I get it. That's asking a lot. This is the first episode of the 3rd season. You got 20 episodes. Each of the first 2 seasons are each 10. I think it's pretty damn digestible and it's pretty great. Yeah, I think you still got time to get on the train. Yeah, I would watch it.
Now I forced you basically at gunpoint to like watch this. Right?
No, he has a gun.
You could say I pulled out I pulled out my little math machine. I said, "This is inevitable. You're going to watch this show."
And I was like, okay,
yeah. You had to download it on your iPad while you were camping, and
that's right.
Basically binge the whole thing.
I was in the Eastern Sierras. I had finished season 1, and then I was like, oh shit. I have the opportunity to camp for 5.5 days in, the remote area in the Sierras at around 10 or 12,000 feet.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I got an iPad and a power bank and I can download the episode. So it was actually, honestly, it was kind of lovely being in nature, camping, going hiking to these glacial lakes and stuff.
Yeah.
And then at night I'd be like, all right, got the fire going, had dinner. I'll watch an episode or two of Foundation.
Were you
awesome.
Brother Day doing the drugs, kind of thinking about humanity and like figuring out like the existential crisis that
I was for sure drinking heavily and smoking some weed for sure, but no like serious drugs. No, I don't know. I was camping alone. I was me and my dog, Geronimo, not both of them. But I don't know. I wasn't. It's the only reason I'm getting into this, even though I know you're kind of kidding, is I had a coworker ask me like, "Were you doing drugs?" And I'm like, I'm not against drugs, but drugs alone in the woods for 5 days for me is like a little like, ooh, that's a little spooky.
my last time camping, we were supposed to all partake in mushrooms in tea. That was my first time doing it. Obviously, it's not going to hit TikTok for all you 12-year-olds out there, but everyone else here is an adult, right? And unfortunately, because I'm not good with, and I don't often do drugs.
Sure.
It's very rare for me. I'm also like weed doesn't even typically agree with my system. So I just stay away from anything besides drinking. Right. Sure. And so I've never tried shrooms before. The guy's like, I'm going to give you some of your tea. And he like portioned it out. So like me and 3 other people or 2 other people would have like less. And then he would have a little bit more. Sure. He's done this before. Right. He's going to walk us through it. Us 3 felt nothing, and he had to go to sleep after 30 minutes because he was like, "I'm tripping hard." He got the ratio so wrong. So I still have no idea what it's like, but we tried. You know, I definitely feel like I would have been out in the desert, looking at the stars, being like trying to write some stupid poetry about a camel.
Sounds pretty fun.
It's like, you know. But who knows? We shall never know. So again. This is Foundation Season 3, Episode 1, A Song for the End of Everything. Pretty poetic title, I will say.
A lot of them have pretty poetic titles.
Yeah. Here's, firstly, how I want to start the episode, right? Okay. And I want to revisit Season 2, because I'm sure not many people have watched this, which is why I'm doing this podcast. And I want more people to watch Foundation because it's great. I've already had some people message me being like, "Oh, I didn't know about this, and now I'm watching it, and I'm so glad you got me in it because I know you're going to talk about it on the podcast." I'm like, thank God. Season 2, Episode 7, one of my favorite characters ever, Bel Rios.
Oh yeah,
has this line that he just says, and it just kind of he delivers it so like under the radar. And I just think it speaks to like where we are in this time and like probably like the kind of things we're going to be dealing with, in Foundation and in general in life. And if it felt relevant then, I think it feels relevant now. This is Bel Rios. The weak are objects. The rapists are kings. The poor are slaves. Life is nothing but emptiness and pain. And that's the show we're talking about today. So if you thought we were getting away from trauma and we were just on a jaunty sci-fi.
Nah, we back.
Nope, we're back. So back in our trauma.
I mean, dude, I got to say, I'm so wealthy. What's Belle's last name? Is it Rios?
Rios, yeah.
Dude, that guy is incredible. I don't know that actor.
Yeah.
But like he comes in the middle of towards the end of a season.
Ben Daniels, by the way. Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And the setup is basically like, he's the most loved general in the history of Empire.
Best introduction to a character,
he has been banned, exiled to slave in like a salt field for disobeying an order that the Emperor gave him that ended up saving the lives of a lot of people, right? That objectively, we know, there is no question, it was a good choice, right? But he's been exiled for it because doesn't matter if it was a good choice. It's not what Empire told you to do. Okay. And then also, he's so loved by his crew, by his men, by the fleet, that they need him for this project. Like, holy fuck. Do you know how hard it is as an actor to walk onto a set of some space fucking opera, and that's your setup. And this guy just fucking kills it. Yeah. Immediately. And it's not because he's like grandiose. He's so fucking human. He's so human. Unbelievable. Yeah. I love that guy too. Yeah. Oh my God. What a good character.
Yeah. I'm so sad that we're not going to get more of him. But I had to bring it up here. Yeah. And he does such a good job. And it's one of those things where I'm like, should I know this actor? Like,
that's the way I felt too. I'm like, I mean, there's a lot of that in this show where I'm like, who are these people? They're amazing.
Yeah, the casting is really good. Bel Rios felt so grandiose. I was like, oh, this is like an actor. It's like huge, like that. Like I've probably seen him plenty of things, but I just don't recognize him, you know. And he's probably a very good character actor and been in a lot of things that I have seen, but I just like could not place him. But they made me feel like, no, this is the guy.
He's the guy. He's perfect. He literally, like just everything. Yeah. I got to say too, one of the things that's really cool, another thing I love about Foundation as like a universe that, the production universe is like at first watching the show, I was like, oh, it's all these amazing British actors, you know? And anytime there's a show where there's a lot of Brits, I'm like, right. They go to school for this. They train for it. Their government subsidizes it. Of course, they're great at it. Yeah. But there are a lot of good American, or you know, at least they're not donning British accents. Yeah, I'm assuming that and it's cool because there's kind of like a full palette of. Well, Lee Pace is American, right? I mean, Lee Pace is very American.
Yeah, okay.
but I don't know. I mean, like supporting cast wise. Yes, like there's a lot more. Yeah. Like, and it's very cool because. It's not just Rada, you know what I mean? It's not just, you know, everybody who was at Edinburgh last year or something like that. It's cool. It's people from everywhere.
You love sci-fi and fantasy.
Yes.
Are you familiar with Asimov and the Foundation books? Is this something you read as a child or anything?
Them? Yeah. Never read them.
I've never read any Asimov. Okay. I think the only Asimov I'm familiar with is iRobot, the Will Smith movie.
Sure. I'm familiar with iRobot as well.
And you get the robot, the classic rules, right? That everyone knows, you know, shall not harm your creator or another human being, and then obey every command as long as it doesn't interfere with law one. And we get those again spouted out here.
Objective, yes.
And Asimov has created these really great concepts. Now, again, I'm not familiar with the books. I do not know. I know that there are definitely changes between what Stephen S. Goyer is doing and what the books have done, especially in terms of like how they have to tell this story over centuries, right? And so I know changes have been made, but these concepts I have to assume are very much ingrained in the books. Yeah. And these are all coming before, I'm not sure if it's before John Carter, but it's before Dune, it's before Star Wars, it's before all the big names, you know? Certainly. And so anytime you see something, it's Asimov was the first, right? So you're like, oh, this is something I've seen before. It's like, well, you haven't. Totally. And the fact that like he integrates almost every like sci-fi thing that I love or think, or like you're dealing with so many different concepts. Like they'll just throw one at you like on the side, you know, that's not part of the plot at all, but it's just kind of like there or whatever, you know, like the jump gates and the way that like they space travel is just like, it just kind of happens, you know, and like this is like spacers and all that kind of stuff. Like we haven't even really got to like dive into them, but they're just doing their thing and they're around. I'm like, this is wild. This is wild stuff.
I mean, I think this is why, right? That Asimov is like considered one of like the true godfathers or great, you know, big three of sci-fi. It's like he is OG status. You know what I mean? Like it's incredible.
I said Stephen S. Goyer, I think. Accidentally, I meant David S. Goyer. This episode is written by David S. Goyer and Jane Esperson and directed by David S. Goyer. And it starts off with narration from Gail. And she says, if you live long enough, time can be a weapon. Now, you play D&D.
I do, in fact.
And this idea, I feel like time can be a weapon, I think is obviously like going to be referring to a bunch of different things, right? Time is a big thing in Foundation. This is 150 years after the second season.
Yes.
Or after the second crisis.
Not only that.
Yeah.
But the central conceit of Foundation is that we are approaching, a potential end state of things, right? Societally, because of Harry Seldon's formula predicting the collapse of empire, right? So like from the get-go, the scale, the timeline scope is like, it's quite big. Yeah. It's not like, in 6 years it's like, no, no. The whole point of creating the Foundation is like, so I correct me on the exact numbers here, right? But so it's like, so the dark period in between is like only 1,000 years instead of 14,000 years or something like that. Yeah. Right. So it's like, we can, our scope is enormous here. We're not talking about the lifetime of a single human being.
Yeah. And I started off by saying like you play D&D, but this quote just always reminds me of like immortal beings, and I'm thinking like dragons, right? And how these, whether it's dragons or I guess vampires or in the case of Foundation, like robots, you know,
or clones,
there's a lot that you don't have to do, or you don't have to care about, or don't have to lift a finger, because time will just do it for you. Yeah. Right. I don't know if that makes you think of anything whenever you hear that kind of quote, or if, because I'm always fascinated by those, like say like dragons and immortal beings. I feel like people don't ever represent them very well. Yeah. You know.
I mean, I love dragons. Yeah. Like dragon on my finger right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, like it's harder for me to think about, at least in D&D, because I'm like, D&D, you are really bound by like the session, your character, all these things. And like when you encounter a dragon, which, you know, spoiler alert, doesn't happen a lot in D&D. It's never a fair fight, right? Yeah. Because a being that's been typically a dragon in D&D is like anywhere from a couple hundred to a couple thousand years old. And like the kind of power and knowledge you amass, is just insane, right? So I'm like, with the voiceover at the beginning of, season 3, episode 1, when Gale says that, it's interesting because I'm like, I think it's a two-sided axe. Sure. Where both, over time, maybe she means the Foundation, will become a weapon. Also, the fact that they're taking so long to put it together, or that the Empire continues to last so long, right? Like, these things can also hurt their cause. It's like, I don't think it's clear whether or not time is on their side yet.
Definitely at the end of the episode, time is not on their side.
We know that 50 minutes later. It
depends on who we're referring to, right? Because to me, like, this quote is very reminiscent of patience as a virtue, you know? So I think of, if you don't have to worry about time, right? If you, like, mortal beings have to, then it's easier to just kind of shrug things off and just wait, But the flip side to this, right, is that, like, spoilers here, big spoilers coming in. All right, we're getting into it now, but like, one of the major themes and plot twists, I guess, or reveals of season 2 is Demerzel, Empire's right-hand woman, Aide, is actually, a hypersentient robot. Well, we knew that from season 1, I think, too. Yeah,
but it becomes very clear in season 2 that she is almost in charge. She is kind of the leading force behind everything the Empire does. Yeah, right, and that even the clones of Cleon have had bits of their memories erased and don't know why she hangs around, right? And aren't able to go back and figure it out. And at the end of the season, I mean, she kills a couple Cleons, right? So going back to the quote about time, right? It's like, time can become a weapon. It's like, right, Demerzel can outlast everyone. Yeah. And time doesn't matter for her. Yeah. She has no biological clock that's ticking. She has no need, right? She will eventually, she will outlast everyone.
I think
unless unique big events take place.
Yeah. And she says as much in this episode. I think this quote, while it kind of sets up the whole episode, is clearly going to be referring to Demerzel, right? And what greater weapon than that, right? She used to be a general. Yeah. And she used to be the most feared general. And like for the humans, right? Yeah. That it was important to keep her as a trophy because they defeated her, right? Yeah. But even though I don't think she is using it as such, it is very much, she hasn't necessarily had to stop fighting the war because at this point, time is running out for everyone but her. Right. Which is very, very interesting. Mm-hmm. Agree. Yeah. Or at least I'm not exactly sure because this quote also does set up us getting to Calgon, the pleasure planet. Basically, I think Vegas in space is what it feels like. Yeah, okay. It's where you go to gamble, Brother Day sure loves to gamble, is what they say when Calgon gets taken, The galactic playground. Yeah. But it seems to be setting up another thing we've been kind of waiting for, and we knew by the end of season 2 was going to be coming eventually with time. And a weapon of sorts is the Mule. The Mule. And his introduction, right? Okay, can we get into it? Can we talk about that scene? Yeah, we can talk about the Mule. Yeah. So first of all, sci-fi fantasy, and I guess it's just like action in general, loves this trope of like dangling a big bad, and like telling you he's coming. Yeah, yeah. And so many times, disappointed, right? Yeah. Once you meet him, you're kind of like, all right, he's badass. I get it. For me, at least, you can disagree. Holy fuck. Did they nail... All right, yeah, we need to be afraid of the Mule. Yeah. Oh my fucking God, that scene is incredible. Really good introductions, it seems like. Also, this is embarrassing. I don't know his name. I recognize him from Game of Thrones. I know he's part of the Iron Island family. I've had to write down everyone's name and casting in case. I'm sorry. No, absolutely. So you're talking about the Mule played by, I will not pronounce this correctly. I probably should have looked up pronunciation. Pilo Asbeck. Or Pilo Asbeck, otherwise known as Euron Greyjoy in Game of Thrones. He's the older Greyjoy brother. Yes, no, really great introduction to the Mule. Holy shit. And yeah, this is one of those things where like he could be you could tease something and it's kind of like a big bad or something and you're like, just ends up being like a villain that's just kind of like, it doesn't really hit the mark and it's just generic or whatever and very disappointing or whatever. And I think Pilo brings so much to the Mule just from his charisma alone. Yes, absolutely. That is one of those things I didn't even like recognize him, but I was also like, it's very similar to Ben Daniels, where I was like, I feel like I should know you, totally. Yeah. And I feel like he I don't know much about the books. I feel like he could very much be a very disappointing villain. I don't know. Because it's interesting how we're going to get into this like telepathic war. And that's always a whole thing, which I want to talk about a little bit in terms of the scene, but yeah, but I think the casting is correct, and they really did a good job of introducing him. And they wrote his dialogue is amazing. Yeah, when he doesn't come out and say explicitly I'm a telepath. He's just like, I'm very persuasive. Yeah, like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, dude. Yeah, and then like making the guy bite his finger off to get the ring. I was like, oh my God, it's so twisted. I love it. when he comes out, he's eating. I don't know what he's eating. I think it's like an apple-esque, right? And it just, as much as I feel like a lot of people have said like CinemaSins has ruined cinema, I cannot get out of my head. It's like, let's give him an apple. So he seems like more of an asshole, and I'm just like, yep, nope, there it is again. It's like the classic trope. Full army, 8 spaceships. He comes out unarmed, eating an apple. It's great. No, awesome scene. I gotta say, there is also a small cameo by none other than the Green Knight himself, Ralph Ineson. Oh yeah. Which was and also been in other things. I'm sure he's also been in Game of Thrones, but he's been in a lot of properties. He's going to be Galactus next and Fantastic Four. You recognize his voice probably more than anything. Yeah. And I loved Ralph showing up here. And I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna get some Ralph this season. Or like, nope, that doesn't happen. And I'm like,
about 45 seconds of Ralph.
They can only have so much of him. And I was so confused for a second until I started looking at the cast list.
Yeah.
And later on, we get a character who is a Zephyr, and her name is Zephyr Varellis, or referred to as Zephyr Varellis, and that is Rebecca Innocent, his daughter.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And so I didn't know that either.
That's
so
cool.
I'm assuming that I don't know what came first, but I'm assuming in my head canon, Rebecca got cast and like, oh, we need like an actor to play a thing. I was like, can you get your dad?
Yeah.
Can you just bring him in here for like a little thing? Because that's a big get, I think, just to die off and
or it was the other way. And
Yeah,
not to be
maybe.
not to be a cynical dick, but it's like, we really want you for this one cameo, and he's like, cool, cast my daughter and I'll do it.
I feel like Rebecca's in for the long haul because she's there for Empire and
bigger ask.
Dermazel. But what a great get, and really interesting that it becomes like a little family affair.
That's amazing. I had no idea.
And they're not even like interacting at all. But
but they're both so good.
And who knows? That could have all just been highly coincidental.
Yeah.
I'd love to know if anyone actually has any information. I didn't look it up beforehand.
Also,
but that's just
for real. I didn't mean to insinuate that like there was any sort of actual quid pro quo, because they're both fantastic.
Right? Yeah.
And they both deserve it. like they're both amazing.
But yes, great introduction. My teeny tiny issue, right, is that it doesn't. I'm not a fan of soft magic rules, because like, what's the power level here, right? Because if you set up this where he can just, as he says, compel people, and to do what he does, I'm wondering, I'm like, that's scary and crazy, but how is he not already taken over multiple worlds? How is he? How are we actually going to be able to fight against this? And why doesn't he just use this ability to compel people when we eventually, come to a head? And it's so easy here, but it's obviously going to have to be harder. And that's where you get like, what we don't understand the power levels or the soft magic version of it. And I just don't know. Like it's like, it's a great introduction, but then you kind of do the thing where you set the bar so high. Yeah. And then you're going to have to tell me that our main characters are going to have to be able to fight him off, but it doesn't seem like that you could.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm sure there's explanations that'll come later, whether it's not because it's like the mentas of it, blocking him or whatever, and that kind of thing. But maybe he seems too powerful. It's just what I'm saying. I'm a little bit worried about that. Do you have any thoughts? I wrote down, what are the limits of compulsion? I think is a very fun question, but I don't know.
I can play devil's advocate. Mm-hmm. I'm not like necessarily in disagreement with you, but like I do think that like, hey man, like if a single dude who's a super powerful telepath just starts taking over planets willy-nilly, the Empire turns on him. And even though he can control people willy-nilly, when you have the galactic fleet nuking the planet you're on, it's like, it doesn't matter how much mind control you have, right? So I think that there's a degree of like, he needs to play his cards right to get the situation to unfold the way he wants to. Also, I think that the show has set up a degree of like, these kind of people, plural, exist, right? We have Tellum,
but
in
not
season
like
2.
the Mule.
We have Gale, right? So like theoretically, like if he is that powerful, I also assume there's people like him that could potentially challenge him or stop him. Like I don't think he's like totally unique in that way. I think that there must be some sort of check to him, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that was supposed to be either Salvor, which we don't have anymore, or it's Gale. I think Gale's supposed to be set up as like,
No, they're setting up Gale very clearly.
I don't know. And the thing is like what I do know of the Mule is that he features in 2 books of the Foundation series of the 7 or 8 books. And it's this one or the second half of this book that we're kind of in, apparently. And then the next book. Right. Okay. So he's here for the long haul and he's going to be a threat for a while.
Good.
It's one of those things where like I can suspend my disbelief, but it does become The last thing I want is like dialogue scenes where like they're monologuing and he could easily dispatch someone, but then it becomes like okay, why like it becomes
why need to just kill them all?
Yeah, the power level thing just becomes a soft magic thing of it. It's just
I would say let's put a pin in it, because my guess is in another episode or two, we get a scene that kind of like lays out here's why I can't do that right now.
Yeah.
Or here's why I don't want to do that right now. I bet we get a little something.
Yeah. I will say one of the scariest things he does, besides, this is just the actor in general, just very casual in his thing, right? And the way he deals with the chaos. He just willy-nilly just kind of does it. Mm-hmm. He's charismatic and it's great. And, he says, you can take care of yourself now or whatever. But he said it twice in this scene. He said, nothing hectic.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this is not hectic?
No.
What does hectic look like to you?
Yeah.
Because if this is just another Tuesday, like what are we in for? Because this seems like it's not even going on off the power level discussion. Doesn't even seem that hard for him. This wasn't even, he wasn't even like stretching his legs, he was just kind of like,
it's very ominous.
So we better get some really cool mentat action.
Yeah.
Because that's setting up quite a lot, so we'll see where we get there. Next we visit the Galactic Council with Brother Dawn, soon to be Brother Day.
Is it soon? When you say soon, what does that mean? I didn't think he was that close. Is he close?
He said 10 days. Yeah.
Holy shit. I
10
honestly
days,
missed that.
Yeah. 10 days away from being brother. They're all preparing for the ascension.
Got it.
Right. There's a lot of talk of time, right? There's 10 days until the ascension. Yeah. It's 3 days until Harry Seldon reveals himself to the Foundation or New Terminus. It's 4 months until all of humanity dies out. Apparently, there's a lot of like place markers, which as you start putting these place markers down, I'm kind of wondering, are we going to hit those markers? Well, what's going to happen in 10 days from now? Is the ascension going to happen? I think that's an interesting thing that we'll get to, because I'm pretty curious on whether or not, especially when we visit Brother Dusk later on, he talks about running and not running, right? And weakness and, being honest with yourself. And if you can stop the ascension for everyone, because for whatever reason we have to, and there's like a bigger thread. I don't know if in 10 days that Brother Dawn is actually going to be Brother Day, and I think he's going to be pissed off about that.
I agree. I mean, look, and also like it could happen. I'm not saying it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm just saying the show, there are so many hints.
They make very specific remarks about it, that he's going to be. And
but not just that. Also, like Demerzel looks at the Prime Radiant and is like, but there's these inflection points.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That could change things. And I don't know what they mean. And at the end of season 2, we have Gale talking about like, we still have influence on history, right? Mm-hmm. Salvor's death necessarily means that these futures that I was seeing, that the things that we thought were happening with the Prime Radiant aren't necessarily fixed. Mm-hmm. That actions still can change the scope of whatever happens, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not just that it's not going to happen in 10 days. It's like something really big could happen and it changes everything.
I'm thinking if, and this is kind of jumping ahead a little bit, but I assume like even if nothing big happens, the idea that in 4 months from now, the Empire and everyone is going to be gone, what's the point of an ascension? Yeah. And therefore, if Brother Dawn has to stay Brother Dawn, because why would you wake up a new Brother Dawn and you become Brother Day and have a baby that you have to deal with? Like that doesn't help Empire. That doesn't help in 4 months' time, right? And so I really think
except that they've been doing it for 600 years.
Except in 4 months, they're not going to be doing it. So why would you do that now? I think they're going to hold off the ascension. I really do think that
because of the potential.
Because why not? Because you have in the scene, you have Brother Dawn very specifically trying to take on already his duties of Brother Day, right? Brother Day's not around anymore.
I mean, Day is very clearly ready to be Dusk.
Yeah. And
I don't know.
And I think
he's ready to retire.
And I think
Dusk though is not.
That'll be, again, interesting to talk about. I think that's what we're setting up here is like Brother Dawn really, really wants to be Empire. Yeah. And I think he's preparing himself for it and he wants to be there. And I am not going to be surprised when they say like, hey, we can't do this right now. We need to keep the status quo because we have 4 months and there's not going to be an Empire anymore if we don't keep what we're at. And I don't think he's going to be very very happy about that.
Yeah, for sure.
That's just what I'm guessing, right?
Of course.
But here he is, preparing himself to be Brother Day, talking to the Galactic Council. His goal is to, manipulate and do whatever he has to do in order to gain resources to give to the traders, because the trader organization, I'm not saying traitor, traders, merchants are...
TRADE.
I'm very bad at enunciation. But they are a faction of the Foundation that is threatening to split off. Right. And that works in Empire's favor. And so what he wants to do is supply them because they're not very well resourced. And he needs the Galactic Council to be able to do that. Right. We learn that there's over 7,000 planets in the entire galactic whatever. Is it just one galaxy? Yeah, probably just one galaxy, right?
It is.
And 6,000-ish of them are theirs, and then 800 are the Foundation's. The Foundation's been busy.
And there's a couple hundred that are nobodies, right?
Just nobodies.
But the Foundation's catching on, absolutely.
Which I'm assuming the Mule is going after that 100 or so, right?
No, but really quick though, I thought that the whole thing, that the Mule is targeting first off that one, the Vegas planet.
Sure.
Because it is like they say, right? It's like the point.
Because no one has it.
Exactly. It's the point just far enough where everything beyond it is Foundation and everything within it is Empire.
Yeah.
Right. So he's targeting it not just because it's Vegas, but because that's like the fault line between the two, like factions, or not factions, between Empire and Foundation. Right.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh, that's fascinating. Right.
Yeah.
Because I mean, just what a good writing or plot point, right? Because it matters a lot for both of them.
Yeah.
It matters for Foundation and for Empire.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, does the domino fall this way or this way?
Yeah.
It's bad for both of us no matter what.
If it is like, I don't know if it's as clean as they make it out to be, but if it is very much just kind of like mid-rim versus inner versus outer, like he's literally like splitting, I think.
Exactly.
You know, he's putting up a wall in between everyone so that the war becomes like his on like two fronts, which is probably pretty bad. But
I think
also they don't know what to do. Like Empire is like, we don't need to worry about that. And Foundation is like, we have no proof.
Yep.
So no one's doing anything about it. And it's probably just going to keep getting worse and worse. It's very interesting, right? And the other major thing is that they have to protect these breadbasket planets. You know, obviously the resource, it always comes down to bread, right? What did I write down? Oh, he mentioned, maybe I didn't write it down because I think it was a stupid joke, but
pretend you did.
But I was like, oh no. It's like he's like you know, yeast is very important, right, for bread. And I was like, what else is yeast very important for?
Yeah.
Right?
Hell yeah.
It's much more important for us, right? We're just going to have some alcohol.
You know? Hey, I work at a brewery.
Yeah.
It's interesting you say this too, but it's also like, I don't know, maybe I'm just have a perverted mind, but like, because he's dealing with like essentially like drug dealer concubine woman, I thought that the implication of like the yeast thing was like, because you're sitting next to a yeast infection.
Yeah. But yeah, it's an interesting time. We're talking about politics, right? In a sci-fi thing, you know, which we know how much people love politics in your sci-fi thing, right?
We do. I mean, it's the stakes are just the biggest.
This is how democracy dies, right?
But also I gotta call it out.
Yeah,
we got Cherry Jones.
Remind me, because I'm not exactly sure who we are talking about here.
Cherry Jones? Oh my God. Lovely actor. She's in everything. My God, hang on.
Some of the side characters I didn't quite write down their names and actor because it's just always so many, right? There's always going to be another big actor. I'm very
I mean, she's been in everything. I mean, the Handmaid's Tale, Signs.
How much do you think we're going to visit the Galactic Republic?
Ocean's
this
12.
Yeah.
I mean, if you got Cherry Jones, you're coming back at least a handful of times. Aaron Brockovich, like she's amazing.
Yeah, here we learn a lot. We learn, like I said, it's going to be 10 days before the Ascension, which, let me be a little bit nerdy. When you say 10 days, what days are we talking about?
Earth days, galactic days?
Trantor days?
Trantor days?
Is Trantor days the timetable that we keep for all of the galaxy?
Right.
Is a
day in Trantor 24 hours?
Yeah.
Is it 10 hours? Is it 55 hours?
What about Haven, which apparently has a very specific kind of day-night cycle that I'm not exactly sure of, right? You know, so a little bit nitpicky.
Technically, I'd like to know a little more.
Actually, can we figure it out here? I think we need to figure out something other than day here to talk about time, because I'm not exactly sure.
I'll send Isaac
already. Is it already 10 days now? Could you just not ascend now? Apparently, somewhere it's.
Right.
It's already been 10 days.
Galactically, there's probably, light years between days.
We got time dilation probably happening. I'm
going to send Isaac Asimov a DM after this.
Send it to David Goyer for sure. Because I feel like he should be nerdy enough to have figured this the fuck out. They use parsec later on too, and I can't remember. Is parsec... it's not time, it's distance.
It's a distance.
I think they also use it as time again. I'm so confused. I didn't write it down.
Because also, this is just such an awesome example of where it was like, if you're not a nerd, you'll be like, oh, they say that in Star Wars. And it's like, no. This dude invented this shit. Star Wars stole it. But parsecs is like not a Star Wars thing.
Interesting. I didn't know that. George Lucas. Yeah.
But yeah, it's like a parsec is like it's 3.25 light years.
Yeah. Anyway, point of I was saying is we learned a lot in this scene. We also learned
30 trillion kilometers. Sorry.
We also learned that the trader organization is run by a Randu Mallow. Mallow. You might remember a Mallow from season 2. Hober Mallow.
He was the one I was saddest to see go, if I'm being honest.
He
was our Han Solo.
Yeah, and played by a great fucking name, Dimitri Leonidas.
That guy rules.
Come on,
what a good actor. He killed that role too.
Him and Brother Constance storyline. Besides, again, Ben Daniels as Bel Rios. Yeah. Those two. That was my favorite storyline of season 2.
Yeah.
And I was sad to see them go. But when I hear Mallow, I'm thinking like, how related are we to Mallow? And it's interesting because I don't know if we're supposed to set up like I don't know anything about Foundation. I don't know where Mallow is on the line. I don't know if it's just another Smith. You know, I don't know if Mallow's supposed to lead us into something, but it's just something maybe we'll just like pay attention to. And the fact that he's on, I guess, the bad side, I don't know if we're supposed to like the merchants and the traders right now, but they're working in conjunction with Empire, or being funded by Empire, or resourced by Empire, and that's not good for us, I guess.
But still part of Foundation.
But still part of Foundation, but they're wanting to secede. I don't know what's going on there, right? Yeah. And as much as I liked Hober Mallow, I'm not happy to see a Mallow on the
agree. We love him. Right? It's like, wait, we don't want you on the fucking treasonous side.
Yeah.
We loved Hober Mallow, and he was influential for the Foundation side in season 2.
Yeah.
Now his descendants are the baddies. It's like, oh no. And honestly, they don't even really talk about it at all. I think we'll get more later.
Well, here's the thing. As I was like writing down the cast list, there's another Mallow in this listed in this episode, but I don't think we saw. And
I was about to say, I don't remember hearing anything.
That's the thing, is that there's a Tauren Mallow played by another actor. And I don't know if maybe he was just maybe they just gave the other guy that died on the speeder bike later, like another Mallow name or something, and just never said it. But it feels weird that they would do that, because why would you give him a name at all? Right. But
it is weird.
And obviously, like, IMDb credits are going to be off based on episodes, right? He's probably been cast, but we don't know, right? So I don't know if we're going to see more Mallows, but it's just very, very interesting to me.
I think we should suspend judgment.
Yeah, and we do mention him later on. We do mention Randu Mallow when we visit Haven. We'll get to that, but obviously, you should, if this, whether or not it's a very common name in this galaxy, is probably for us something to take note of.
I agree. It's like, if it ends up being like because Mallow is the Smith of this galaxy, then fuck right off. Fuck right off. You're smarter than that. I think it'll come up. Yeah. I think we'll get more info.
We'll come back to this later. I'll mention it now. Just but I wrote down that quote of every Cleon is thinking about, like, you know, their dynasty, and will I be the last Cleon, or will I be the one who saves it? You know, and I feel like we're going to come back to that later on. You know, we're definitely thinking about that. I do think that there's multiple Cleons thinking very different things
100%
in this episode.
Oh my God. I mean, I feel like that's what this episode is establishing.
Yeah.
For the Empire side.
Absolutely.
That's like the whole point.
I mentioned that when I told you about Foundation and like the trailer, I was like, Lee Pace has his shirt off in like almost the entire trailer. So I mean,
easy
like,
man to look at.
You know, like, we're gonna get a lot of Lee Pace. And
yes,
he has some. We'll talk about Lee Pace later. Let's move on from the Galactic Council. We'll go really quickly to Trantor. After they leave, and Brother Dawn goes to visit Brother Dusk, who's looking at all the past Brother Dusks doing their ascension.
And to be clear, if you haven't seen or you don't remember, ascension is what a euphemism. Well, you get fucking vaporized. He's getting fucking annihilated.
Sure. Speaking of euphemisms, he's like, well, Empire stays erect.
Right. Right.
At least somebody can, Brother Dusk says.
Yeah. Cute. But let's not forget.
I'm glad these bros can just have their, you know, humor.
Talking to my 18-year-old self / brother about how, well, thanks for the boner. I mean, yeah, it's fucking wild. But also, getting back to the point.
Yeah.
He is literally watching the past 16 versions of himself walk into their death. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting, right? That half of them just accept it. And half of them, oh God, run.
Yeah.
And then get kicked back into the thing and they die anyways.
Yeah. Now, you might have to remind me. I did not do too much. I did watch some recaps, but I do not remember what exactly happened to the last Brother Dusk, which, if I recall correctly, he was kind of getting all the memories. He's the one like seeking out like what was going on with Demerzel and all that kind of stuff. Like, he didn't go through an ascension. Like, they had to wake up all three of them or something, right? Didn't they have to do that? Or was that a different
in season 2?
Yeah, or? I don't remember.
So, I could get this wrong too, but at the very end of the season, like, Demerzel kills
all of them, right?
Well,
or Brother Dusk.
Dusk and Dawn.
Yeah.
Day gets killed by your favorite.
Right. Yes.
Gets shoved out into space.
And then they all have to like wake up.
And then Demerzel kills the other two.
Yeah.
Dusk and Dawn, the old one and the young one, in case, you know, this gets confusing. Mm-hmm. Because Dusk goes into the vault.
Yeah.
Discovers all the info about Demerzel with his concubine / friend, Rue, I think her name is.
Yeah.
Character name is. Mm-hmm. And then Demerzel discovers that they know all this.
Yeah.
Right? And murders them. Mm-hmm. And then obviously wakes up, you know, the new Dusk. Who has all his memories, except for the ones that Demerzel doesn't want him to have.
Right. Yeah.
Right. But yeah, is that what you mean?
Because they learned, I recall him like learning a lot.
Yes.
And he was researching a lot, right? Too much, right? And
Demerzel.
Clearly, like, there's something going on that I don't recall with this Dusk. and why he's watching it. It's almost like he's trying to remember something.
Specifically, what Demerzel's deal is.
Yeah.
And then and he brings Dawn down into the vault. Well, they go to the memory bank first.
Yeah.
And he asks for, I want like the data size of all the Cleon's memories. Mm-hmm. And they're all, give or take, within like, let's call it the scientific like standard deviation, except for Cleon 1, whose memory bank is like double the gigabytes of all the other Cleons. And he's like, that's fucking weird. And that makes him start looking like, what did Cleon know? What life experience did he have that was so much bigger that would have left all this stuff that we don't have, right? And he is, in the first place, I should have said this, he's skeptical because when he starts trying to talk about Demerzel, right, he keeps trying to say like something profound or what he thinks about her. And the only words that come out are, she's always been there and she always will be, or something like that. Remember? Yeah. And then he tries to say like, no, she's not in control. She's always there and she always will be. And he's like, the fuck? And Rue's like, you've said that twice. You're repeating yourself. Do you know you're doing that? Yeah. And he's like, there's this memory that I can't shake, and that's all I can say. So he brings Dawn down. They rap about the Cleon memory profile. Sure. Yeah. They start looking into like Demerzel's control over this stuff, and Demerzel finds them. Yeah. Learning all this, and is like, zip, zip. And then breaks out the new Dusk and Dawn out of the tubes. Yeah. The thing is so it just seems to me like this Brother Dusk is watching these things, and not just, he's obviously contemplating his own ascension, but it's almost like he's like searching for something, something that he doesn't remember, and it's always interesting to me. And I used to be able to keep track of it between season 1 and season 2, not keeping very much track of it between season 2 and 3, because they haven't really said. We know like the 17th, we learn here that the 17th Cleon or Empire was the one who destroyed Terminus and is the one that got spaced. Yes. Right. And also lost the loyalty of all the spacers during that time. Yep. Which is going to, I'm sure, come into play later on. Sure I hope we get more spacers. Right. But it's only been 150 years. I'm not exactly sure. It's definitely yeah, that wouldn't be right. Yeah, I just like how many generations is that, right? Yeah. I know that they don't. If we assume their normal life cycle is like 80 years, this isn't this isn't Brother Dawn that became Brother Dusk, but like how far removed are we from the 17th, right? How far removed are we actually? Okay. I don't think it's that. I don't think this Brother Dusk was Brother Dawn during the 17th reign, because that would be too long. Okay, get me. Sure. Because I have to jump in here. You're probably right. Yeah. But see, I thought that it was all the same ones. And that because they have the nano tech, and that they're like age free, right? And that there's like, all these Cleons that like their lives just have been getting extended. Nope. I literally thought it was the same ones. No, they age normally. Yeah. Okay. That's the point of the ascension, right? Is that you become born a baby, you're Dawn. You eventually ascend to become Brother Day when you age into it. Oh, I understand the ascension stuff. Right. That's not what I'm saying. But then whenever you die, like it's a new clone of you, right? It's not the same Brother Dawn clone. Like you have, sure, memories or whatever like get implanted, but you're taught by Brother Day and Brother Dawn. It's almost like a new. It is still a family dynasty that kind of. It's just like an incest family. It's like it's still new, right? It's not that they are the same person, yes, but they kind of start life over, and they're taught by Brother Day and Dawn. I understand all that. Dusk. Yeah, that's not at all what I'm saying. Yeah. I'm saying I thought that their lives, literally, just lasted longer because of all the genetic technology that they have.
Which is possible. You mean like
Cleon lives to 180.
Their lifespan. Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
I understand. I understand the conceit of the cloning. I very much. You don't need to explain this to me.
I don't remember if that was mentioned, which is why I question. Because you would think it would be, right? In this kind of world that we've at least extended life a little bit. Obviously, they still age, and you can't escape that. But how long have they extended life? And would that mean, and again, when we're talking about days or years, what years are we talking about? I'm assuming it's Trantor. I don't know what number we're on. And they never say like what number Cleon we're on. Because if we were on say 18th or 19th or the 19th Cleon, then that would assume that this brother Dusk is the old brother Dawn from the 17th Cleon, but he wouldn't be talking about him like, oh, do you remember him? So it was probably like 2 generations ago. So I don't think that would be happening. We've gone on a tangent and I just realized I was like, that can't be a thing because they wouldn't be talking about it because Dusk would know. He would have been there.
What do you mean?
If this was the same brother Dawn from season 2 that is now brother Dusk, he wouldn't be talking to brother Dawn saying, oh, do you remember the 17th? And like he destroyed Terminus and did a thing, but he's talking about it as if he wasn't there and he didn't know him. Which I guess he did die too.
Sorry, dude. But also, not only did he die, but also the whole point of season 2 is establishing that Demerzel selectively chooses what memories they get and which ones they don't get. Do you see what I'm saying?
Wait a second. Okay. While you figure that out.
Yes, if they all had full knowledge, but the whole point is they don't. There are gaps in all of their memories because Demerzel is very selective about what the clones get.
Here's one thing I want to say because I skipped it and I feel really bad for skipping it. Cassian Bilton plays Brother Dawn, and obviously as they age, Brother Dawn, Dusk, and Day, they're gonna actually age normally, but they have to play like the same characters and same clones. But we're seeing them a little bit older than we were the previous seasons, even though they're still playing Dawn, Dusk, and Day. Yeah. Cassian Bilton, I feel like as he's growing, is doing a very great job of playing a younger Lee Pace. He's suddenly like putting it on here that I don't think he was doing it before. He feels a little bit more like as he's taking on more of this role of Brother Day and he's got 10 days to Ascension, I'm seeing like the Lee Pace in him. And again, what great casting, because you can't always like plan that. And I don't know where they talked about this or if it was a decision that he made, but I think he's just doing such a great job where I'm like, yes, that now we have 2 Lee Paces going on here. Like it feels really, really good performance wise and very, very interesting. You're not going to find anything on like an official Wikipedia, by the way, because the Dawn, Dusk, Day Empire thing, as far as I know, is not a book thing.
Yeah. I'm not looking for that.
Right. And if they don't mention it here, it's not going to be in any official kind of thing, I think, unless someone mentioned it in an interview.
I'm just looking to see if, because the way you can tell is if they title them
are we on?
As Cleon.
Yeah,
exactly.
What Cleon are we on?
Exactly.
I feel like if we were on 19th, then it's possible.
It's like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Or if they're like, yeah, we just never list it, or like we're not being clear.
Yeah, we could also be on like the 20th Cleon, and we just missed it, So it depends on how long they live. Also, when they decant a new one, does it go up a number, or do you take on the
stays
until the Ascension, right? That's we could probably be on this all day, but if you do find something, let me know. Brother Dusk, as he's watching these things, he has this little moment of contemplation of wondering, the ones who run, he can't tell, are they weak for showing their fear or are they just dying honest?
Man, AI has crazy shit to say about this. AI thinks
not going to tell you.
AI thinks it's Cleon the 14th. Day is the 14th.
It doesn't know. Habit, genetics, time. Most of us are obedient as trash heading to the incinerator. Thanks, for being such a downer, man. I know I'm not a Cleon, but I don't want to be as obedient as Trash heading to the incinerator. Do you think this is is it just the Cleons, or you feel like that says something about us? What are we?
I don't think.
When we die?
I mean,
I don't want to. We probably should move on. But do you think they're weak, or do you think they're dying honest?
I think the point of that scene for me,
please,
is that it doesn't matter, that he's realized that Demerzel is calling the shots, and that he used to think, oh, should I be strong and stand and get particle deteriorated bravely, or should I run and be honest about the fact that I'm afraid? I think the whole walking in trash into the recycling bin or whatever is him realizing, like, doesn't matter at all what the fuck I do. I'm fodder. I think that's what it.
This is where about. Like the contemplation of, there's a bit of acceptance. If we're of the understanding is like, am I the Cleon that will end the line, or will I save it? You know, he doesn't have to deal with it anymore. That's Brother Day's job, who's going to be dusk, you know, and Brother Dawn, who's going to be day, and it's going to be a whole new clan. It's just going to keep on going. He says, is like, I don't have it in me, but we know every dusk has it in them. Yeah. Every single one of them has it in them to run. They just don't know it. And I have a feeling that he's contemplating this idea, and he's, you know, worrying about his own death and where does he go and all that kind of stuff. But as we mentioned before, when they decide to not do the ascension, which I don't think they're going to do. Yeah. Because I don't think you want this current Brother Day being Brother Dusk if they're going to die in 4 months, right? He's going to embrace that. I don't think he wants to go through with the ascension. I think that's going to be very interesting he's a new lease on life. And I think he's going to wonder if he really is honest, if he really does have it in him to, to do that. I think he's lying to himself. Is basically what I'm saying. I think it's a complete lie that he's just going to go off and be trash into the incinerator.
I think they all want to live.
Yeah. Obviously it's Empire. It's like, they all want to live.
It's just that some of them allow everyone to see that they did, and some don't.
Yep.
But he for sure wants to live.
Yeah.
He's not never ready to go.
Yeah.
They artificially cut their life off early. It's fucked up. It's like forced young euthanizing. Yeah. Holy shit.
We could talk about Empire all day, but let's move on to New Terminus. We'll come back to Empire. Sure. It's already been quite some time. New Terminus has exited its religious phase and moving on to the expansion phase. Yeah. We get go through this quickly. Dr. Ebling Miss is a descendant of Silas, which is just a way to say that it's the same actor, because I do not remember Xylus at all, but I guess he was there on Trantor. You know, he's at the trial, right? Yeah. So just an excuse to get the same actor, I guess, right? And looks just exactly like him.
Which, for the record, I'm all about.
Yeah, sure. He takes down a null field. He visits, and he's like, he thinks he knows what the third crisis is, but of course, Harry Seldon can't say for sure. You know, because that would, I guess, Harry. Ruin things, right? You know, also because you got to keep some mystery for the plot, right?
Right. Because Harry never tells everybody everything.
Yeah. I feel like Jared Harris is just having a lot of fun. Just gotta say it. He's like embracing this character.
I'm Genius God, and I'm also a professor. Yeah, you better fucking have fun. It's awesome.
Most of the questions and things I have down here is like, we're talking about whether the traitors are the third crisis and how this all going to come about. Also, we get more time of, I'm going to come back in 3 days. Just like Jesus Christ. But yeah, he's not coming back. He's always been there, but he's going to reveal himself and do his, I guess, 150 year,
check in.
With the new terminus. It's really interesting because I play games like City Skylines where you see just cities being built and things expand, and there's other like Civilization, right, games, that are like really fun, and I'm like, it's just like playing Civilization like from the Foundation thing.
Yeah. I mean, this is the downfall of I will say, of like he's such a lovely actor and such a cool character.
Yeah.
But this is the downfall, right? And like multiple characters have called him out on this already in the show, but it's like he is a little smug and fucking like laissez-faire about playing puppeteer with people's lives.
Well, yes, and obviously like we're learning that like, oh, it's not quite exactly like what you think, like New Terminus is and the Foundation, like what we're going through. It's like, there's merchants and traders, and we've the new religion is trading and bartering and whatever, but there's also kind of a monarchy, right? Yeah. So Foundation is becoming, oh, really? Another empire.
Yeah.
Right? It's just the same old thing.
Just run by a smarter guy.
Smarter is debatable, probably. Well, if you mean Harry, right? But not run by...
I do think Harry's smarter than Cleon, but... Yeah.
Sure, but it's actually being run by the... when he says the monarchy, is being run by the Mayor Indbur.
Right.
The Inburs. It's always another Inbur.
Harry is not seen day to day. He's in cryo for 150 years. He comes out for a couple days. Yeah. And then goes back to cryo.
Yeah. So interesting stuff. I obviously don't think that the trader thing is going to be the third crisis. I don't know what this inflection point is or how it's going to go down or whatever, but I don't think it's that. Let's see. What do I have down here? Do you have anything about this scene?
No.
That was interesting to you?
Honestly, this scene, there's nothing bad about the scene, but it was just kind of like okay, you're clearly setting up something for me to care about later, but I don't know what it is right now. And I'm like...
We'll get more philosophical discussions, I'm sure, between these two. And whether
Great.
It's very interesting world building. I love hearing about what generation we're in, merchants, and how the world works and stuff. I do... feel like I'm not sure where the politics are of David S. Goyer or what this is trying to represent, but I find it interesting that he likens Terminus and this new monarchy to the conservative majority, whereas the traders and the merchant princes are kind of at odds with this conservative majority. Yeah. And it feels like, okay, so are we, how conservative are we talking? And is he using conservative in the actual like political term conservative, or is he using it as a, more of like to be, conservative in like how you do things, just a little bit passive or a little bit, what I'm saying? Sure. Right. I don't know, so there's a idea here that I'm sure we're going to come into is like, what is empire? What is the Foundation? Like who are the extremists and who are the, whatever? Are we liking ourselves to the traders, to these liberals, right? Again, like are the Mallows and the traders like really the bad guys? I'm not sure. And I don't know where we're kind of going with this thing. But obviously, if we're creating if Foundation is just becoming another monarchy, a pretty stupid one at that, but, and also not, as the doctor says, Dr. Mist says, unable to deal with the coming crisis. What does that say, about, and who are we supposed to be actually aligning ourselves with is a very interesting thing. I don't know. And I'm sure we'll get more political, things and metaphors and stuff and that kind of whole thing. I don't know if we don't need to talk about politics, but it's something that I noticed.
I'm sure it'll get more complicated.
Yeah. Also Harry is coming back. I mentioned before in 3 days, and that's before Dawn is going to ascend, or the ascension happens, right?
Harry back 3 days. Dawn ascending, or dusk ascending, dawn to day, 10 days.
Yeah.
complete eradication of humanity 4 months.
Yeah, I don't think and none of this stuff is happening or all of it's happening. I don't know. Right. Yeah. We do go to Haven. Really cool action scene. Haven is the where the traders are kind of, or organization is their home base or their headquarters is planet that's seemingly half ice, half desert. It's 260 degrees on one side, negative 180 degrees on the other. I don't think he mentions Fahrenheit or Celsius, so who knows which one we're talking about
Kelvin,
here.
Probably.
But in the shadow, it's a cool 55 degrees, just like LA. Here we get introduced to, I think, probably going to be the favorite character of this season. They only call him by his last name, but I learned from looking at different things and also the casting list. This is Han Pritcher. A Han. Apparently before there was a Han Solo. Probably Han was based off of Han. I don't know.
Han Solo is very clearly Han Pritcher plus Hober Mallow.
Yeah. This is
Sorry, you're kidding me? It's just literally like you
played already very charismatically by a guy I don't know, Brandon P. Bell.
Yeah, I did not know.
But I'm already really interested to see. This is very much this is a Hober Mallow type figure, but I also think probably going to be a little bit of bigger figure in the coming seasons or not.
Seems likely.
I think especially with a name like Han and the fact that in the recaps I learned, or what I learned is that as Foundation and Asimov wrote this before Star Wars, another major character named Han is what came up. So this is what I'm going with, right? Yeah. They are trying to figure out, I don't know the other character's name. I thought it was one person and I never figured it out, but they're trying to figure out, is the Empire giving resources to the traders? Yes, they are. And speeder bike thing ensues, they can't confirm it, but a really cool speeder chase happens.
It looks like
I actually thought it was really cool. I think outrunning the sun, fucking dope concept.
Yeah, it's sick.
Pretty fucking cool. And this is just the beginning, Yeah. Now, fool me once, give me some cool stuff for the first 2 episodes like Last of Us, but don't fool me twice. Yeah. And just give us nothing for the rest of the season. So, but I thought this was dope. But from what I've seen in the trailers, we're gonna get some more cool. I love speeder bikes. Return of the Jedi, the speeder bike chase is like my favorite. By the way,
that sequence is so Star Wars.
It's very much like inspired by that.
It's like speeder bikes plus pod racing,
and we get also like some other cool. I don't want to spoil the trailers, but from what I've seen, some other cool action things that I'm also like right up my alley in terms of like more speeder things and more of this kind of. I just love this fast action kind of thing, right?
Absolutely.
They chase the sun. Again, really cool sequence. I will mention we do not see. Why did I write it down but not write down his name? We do not see Randu Mallow die. Right? He gets thrown off the bike. He's still in shadow. The last little shot that I don't think it's
explicit.
And we do know that he has some sort of cloak that can kind of protect him from the sun or something. And I don't know where that sun moves to or what, or if he's waiting for another shadow to come along and another, 24 hours or whatever it is, right? Yeah. So very interesting. We don't know if he's dead or not, but I'm saying we didn't see it. If you don't see a body, then you don't make assumptions.
Agreed.
Right? You see the other guy basically explode.
For sure dead.
So yeah. Anything else about this scene?
No.
I have some questions here, but we can get into it. He goes back to New Terminus, where the mayor is in orbit right above the Foundation spire thing. I can't remember what they call it, but and
like the vault.
Yes, the vault.
Is that
right?
it? Yeah,
he's right. He's in tidal locking orbit with the vault, right? And got his candies and stuff, and we learn a lot about Han. Of course, like, if you don't have a Han with his laid back feet up on the table, is it really a Han?
No.
Categorically. He wants to go figure out what's going on with the mule. And it leads me to wonder, what do these characters know of the mule? Is it just Gale and Harry that know about the mule, which would make sense, and maybe the Mentats, right? But it doesn't seem like they've given this information to the rest of Foundation. And definitely not Empire. Like, they don't know anything about the mule. This is like precognition from Gale that they know about the mule. And that's like their kind of ace up their sleeve against Empire, is this information. So he's just showing up, and it's like, we know about it and feel like everyone else should know about it, but none of the other characters seem to know about the mule. Yeah. And that's why he wants to check up on the mule. Is that what you're getting here as well?
I think.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's that explicit.
Yeah.
That feels right to me. Mm-hmm. But also, it could be that they're the only ones that we are revealing what they know of the mule right now. I think it's possible. I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I think it is possible that Empire also has a file on the mule.
I don't know that they do. I think he's just showing up. He's just a pirate. He calls himself the Mule. And I don't know about Empire. I think Empire knows nothing. I think they know. They know that there's inflection points and stuff, and they know where things end, but they don't know specifically about the Mule, right?
I don't mean literal Empire. I mean the Empire, like someone.
Yeah. I think it's just Gale, and especially because Han is very specific. Like, I think this is the thing.
Yeah,
I think this is what we should be paying attention to. Which he's smart enough to know what we know, that like this is something you should be paying attention to, but no one else seems to be paying attention to it. Again, Foundation doesn't care about it, and Empire is just like,
I mean, Empire doesn't care about anything.
Let Foundation deal with it.
I mean, that's like their MO.
Yeah,
is don't care about it until it's relevant.
Yeah. So, so that's just something. Yeah, I'm curious about what people know about the Mule, and it seems like it's just Gale and Harry. And I feel like that's information people should know. Okay. The other thing is like, you could go deal with your swashbucklers or whatever later on, is what the mayor says. Yeah. And all I'm thinking is like, don't promise me swashbucklers if you're not going to give me some swashbuckling. No, we're going to get swashbucklers. Because I love me some swashbuckling action. Obviously are. If there's anything that people know about me, it's swashbuckling and nothing else. Wow. And I want some swashbuckling.
Heard it here first.
Don't commit to it if you can't deliver it.
I think you're going to get it.
If I don't have one character swinging from a fucking rope and doing some sword fucking swashbuckling action, which I think has to be in contract in every single swashbuckling.
I'll be honest. I think you're going to get the rope and the swing. I don't know if you're going to get the sword. But yeah, I hear you.
Oh, we go back to Trantor. Demerzel has some unburdening to do.
A little garden chat.
A little garden chat. Would you say she has to, and credit where credit is due, Apple TV just basically gave this to me. I didn't come up with it myself. Would you say she has to get something off her chest?
All right, we can end the
This
cast
has been Codependent
Content. God damn it.
Again, to be fair, they did it first. They put it, they Apple TV said it, not me. They posted on their TikTok or whatever. Anyway, she has some unburdening to do with the Zephyr sister.
She has to talk about who she is.
Yeah.
Or what she is.
With the aforementioned daughter of Ralph Ineson, Rebecca Ineson. It was Rebecca, right? Ooh, yeah. To keep going back and forth. Rebecca Ineson. Great. Zephyr sisters, know nothing about them as far as I know. I love how this, like, everything has like an order, right? It's like
religious sex everywhere.
Yeah, but not just religious, but very much. Yeah, I guess you have to.
I mean, it's like, I know what you're saying, because it's like, it is religious, but most of them don't feel like a religion. It feels like surrounded by either a tradition or a natural resource or a planet, right? It's like, it is religion, but it's not based off of just pure worship of a deity. It's because we're societally like so far timeline down the road. It's like, but it's really centering around salt, or these people who have like these secrets, or these people who protect this certain thing, or these people who have this specific ability, right? And it's cool. I don't know.
It's always interesting to me because religion in science fiction is always interesting to me, because when I grew up Christian, and in writing my own sci-fi and fantasy stuff, it's like, how does, when you expand beyond Earth, and humanity does inhabit a bunch of different worlds, what is religion, right? What are the religions that we had before? Like, how does that play a part when you basically are like, oh, there are no gods in science fiction, right? I don't know that those things like coincide, Or
interestingly enough, I would say,
because why would a god care about Earth if we are like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if other civilizations existed in other planets now, there were like thousands of worlds. Our religions are based on even the Greek gods caring so much about this one planet.
Right.
But they're the gods of this planet.
Yes.
The Viking gods are the gods of this planet, right? They're not the gods of other planets, are they? Or can they be? Do they follow humanity? You know what I'm saying? That's where it becomes like, how does that mesh? What religion is so interesting to me.
These are the fun sci-fi questions.
Yes, yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. I mean, like, again, like, honestly, I think most great sci-fi writers grapple with this.
Of course.
Right? Because it's like, oh man, this thing that we interpreted to be, quote, let's say, for example, Christianity.
Yeah.
And we thought it's this Christocentric thing. It's like, and then you go to this planet 28,000 light years away, and everyone's wearing crosses, except there's a different looking creature on it. And they've also apparently died and come back from the dead. And then it's like, oh man, so like, maybe Christianity like has like truth still way out in this distant part of the galaxy. Yeah. But like, our truth is not the full truth. And like, there's this whole other thing happening somewhere else, right? With this thing, I think that's like where I'm like, sci-fi is just the most interesting shit in the world.
It's so fun. It's so interesting.
Because it's like, oh, it's not that mine was wrong. It's just I didn't get the full picture.
Also, tell me if you know this. We can skip it. What is Han's religion?
Oh, I don't know.
Because he mentions he has like loyalties or whatever he says. And he holds up that necklace, but I don't recognize it. And I don't know if it's a foundation.
I remember this, but I don't know. Yeah.
Does someone else have that necklace?
Yeah.
Does it look, if anything, I could see it being on Brother Constant or Hober Mallow's neck, right?
Get in the comments. Let us know.
Please tell us. I'm sure there's Easter egg people out there already making videos, miss? And I should have watched the Easter egg videos. Anyway, Demerzel, she's got unburdening to do with Zephyr Valaris. Oh my God, I'm so terrible with the names. Varellus. Which in this case, I don't know what the Zephyr sisters are talking about, like whatever their religion is or whatever. I don't exactly understand the Zephyr sisters and what their religion is, but seems to me she's just a therapist.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
Which again, if you thought we were getting away from the trauma and the therapy,
nah,
we're back.
Come on, it's a sci-fi, man.
We got
constant trauma.
Oh man, therapy in 2 shows that we've talked about now. Interesting.
I mean, hey, if you're gonna talk about a show when there's not therapy, why are you even talking about it?
I mean, so interesting that she's like, your memory is gonna be wiped and then restored before we have our next session.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, and to
which
be
is
clear,
how I treat my therapist already.
Wow. Okay.
it's like nothing else matters, right? Just what me and you are talking about.
But it's not. It's basically. It's even more specific than that. It's that you basically will only have memories of these conversations when you come to have these conversations with me, right? Wow, what a fucking insane and fascinating and fucked up conceit. Like, oh my God, I love it, but so frustrating, right? Immediately my mind was like, what can you do to try and get yourself to remember? Do you write things on your arm? You know? Do you make yourself a little note and drop it somewhere in the garden so you find it later?
Oh.
You know, or something? I'm like, how do you do it? Because
I didn't actually think that she would try to do that, but now I'm interested. Oh, do you think she's going to?
I mean, I hope so.
Because it's a lot of information. She seems very scared about talking with the robot.
As you should be.
Sure. In this galaxy.
Yes.
Yeah. And based on apparently the old wars.
The old wars in Demerzel's recent past of just destroying people, murdering folks, and erasing their memories. Yeah, no. She's fucking horrifying.
Here's what I'm going to say. Besides the Cleons, we do know that there's another group that always gets their memories wiped because of state secrets, right? And that's the concubines.
Yep.
So we're comparing, in essence, therapists and prostitutes. The scales. Anyway, I don't know what I'm saying there. It's an interesting thought. I don't think all Zephyr sisters get their memories wiped after that. I think very specifically this one has to.
I thought you were just trying to say that societally we don't value folks who help our mental health. But yeah.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
All sex workers are human too.
We want all the help. We just don't want to pay for it.
Let's move.
We don't want to deal with the implications afterwards.
Sure. Man, if I could wipe my memory after therapy.
Or prostitutes.
You don't do drugs, but no, I'm sorry. We should. We're back, baby. We learned that robot blood is golden, which is kind of cool.
It was cool.
I
it was
think
super
we saw
cool.
that before, right? Did we not see her blood bleed ever?
I remember she got sliced, but I don't specifically. That was new to me. I didn't remember that.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I think this is the crux of the episode, right? This is the thought experiment, right, of robots and humanity, and
the thought. Exactly, I agree. That scene is like, hey, reader. Are you paying attention?
Yeah.
This is what the fucking season's about.
Oh yeah.
it's very, it was a little on the nose. I'm like, oh wait, we're 21 episodes in and now we're getting our first thought experiment? No, come on. It's fucking high sci-fi.
Already. Every episode has been like a thought experiment.
Yeah.
That's what I love about this. This is
in a good way. I'm not complaining. I was just like, all right, I'll pay attention now. But fuck, this whole show is a literal thought experiment.
Yeah, I don't want to recap exactly like their conversation because we could, but like we learned about robots and like what happened in the war and stuff. Also, that she was a general.
Yep.
For the longest time, I was like, okay, robot. I was like, is she? Because we knew she was a robot in the first season. I didn't understand the implications of that. I was like, okay, so they made her, she basically I guess Umbrella Academy was in my head. So I was like, is she basically mother, of the Cleons and that kind of thing, which she kind of acts in essence, especially with Brother Dawn, she kind of raises them, that kind of thing. So, but I didn't know if she was based off of Cleon's mother, wife or something.
Well, I don't know about that, but there is one other really important thing about Demerzel.
Yeah.
That we learn at the end of season 2 that I'm kind of surprised they didn't bring up again.
Yeah.
Or maybe it'll come up again. But one of the other reasons she's special, not just given her power and her status, but she says to Cleon, young Cleon, when the young Cleon discovers her, she is unique because she holds the key to replicating androids or robots.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. That's something about her. Like, I'm going to call it DNA. It's not, literal DNA.
In her golden blood, probably.
Something about her gold blood or something about her processor, mainframe, DNA, whatever the fuck, holds the key to making other robots, right? So
if you have a computer, you could make another computer, right?
Not in the world.
Potentially,
Not
if
in the
you
world of
knew
the
how
show.
it worked, right? Could you backwards compatible, like not backwards compatible, but can you work backwards to engineer another thing if you have the thing in front of you? Whether or not she does it or not, and you know what I'm saying? It's like in essence, yeah. I hear what you're saying. It is.
There's a specific moment though when she says this. It's
Yeah.
like, of course, yeah. If you have a computer, you can make another one.
Yeah.
But I think that the implication.
We
is,
might not be able to. To be fair, we've found
Sure.
an ancient computer and we don't know how it works. So,
But
yeah.
I do think there's a specific scene. I'll find it.
Yeah.
Where she says like, no, I'm like unique, and like maybe that's a lie. Maybe she's trying to get young Cleon to treat her more preciously. But I don't think so. I think that there is this moment where we're like, oh, she's also like the first one, or like the key, like the seed to creating a robot empire.
Yeah.
If you wanted
Well,
to.
we learned, yeah, and she's very, very important. And we find out in this scene, like just how important she was, right? Because again, we've been learning a little bit more like her. I was like unsure of like where she was, and now I'm learning. I was like, oh, she's not based off of. She wasn't built by the Cleons, or she was kept as a trophy, which you learned in season 2, right? She was kept there. It's like, okay, that's interesting, but like, what was she made from? And it's like, okay, so she was from Robot Wars. Now we're learning like she was a general, which I can't see her as being. Right. That is like so far beyond, like her programming has really taken her away from that altogether.
But I mean, that's like the delicious part.
That's
is
so
like,
great.
Because we're for sure going to get fucking Battle Demerzel this season. We are.
But for someone who lives forever, time is a weapon. So I don't think we're going to.
No, I think we are.
Maybe.
Because listen.
We've seen her fight.
No, I think we're going to see her fight. I mean it.
Yeah.
Because the whole point, right, is that her super objective is to protect the dynasty.
Here's the thing is like,
right? And so if Foundation
yeah.
becomes powerful enough to challenge them, she literally gets authorized.
I don't think she needs to. Here's the thing. When she talks about the species are going to end, she's not talking about her. That's just what
she's talking about humanity.
Right. And that's what she's dealing with here. And also, when we talk about humanity, and we very specifically call the Mule a mutant, does that include mutants as well? And so I'm also curious about that. Can there be once humanity itself? It's a lot of worlds and a lot of humanity, but I don't know if that includes spacers, right?
I don't know either.
if that includes.
I mean, it does. Well, humanity does include,
right?
Humanity for sure includes spacers, because at the end of season 2, right, when Hober ends up in the spacer ship, or no, not Hober. It's not Hober who has.
He's there.
He is, but that's not where the conversation happens. It's Hober's lover, brother
Constant.
Thank you. When she is taking her first like big hyperspace jump, and is talking to a spacer, she's kind of like, "Oh, I've never met one of you," or whatever. And the spacer goes, "We are human."
Yeah, but they're augmented. So that's where I'm like, what does it mean?
But I think that the whole point of going back to the prediction from the Prime Radiant and what Demerzel was saying, I think when she's saying like, and what Harry is saying about an extinction event is everybody, not just the humans. I think humans, including the not mentats. What do they call them in the show? Mentalix or something?
Sure. Yeah.
Whatever it is.
I'm very bad at.
But I think they mean all the forms of humans.
All my notes are just glossary terms, and I
mean, it's a big world. It's a lot, guys. But I do think they mean like humans as we know them, and all of the variations.
The variations.
I do think that.
I will say, I'm really sorry, guys. We said it was going to be not a long podcast, but we keep on going on these.
There's a lot of cool shit.
We keep on going on these tangents. This is going to be a long podcast. I love it though. This is why. Because I think this is why I love Foundation. Because I could talk about that. I can talk about what makes a human.
It's a cool world.
When she's talking about that. But I definitely don't think that she's gonna just inhabit the galaxy by herself. And so what does that mean? Does she, as you said, like bring on more?
Yeah.
If she holds the key, like what does that mean? If humanity, I don't know. I don't know what the end effect. Here's to say, Foundation. This is like the second book or the third book, and there's like 7 books. So I obviously like something keeps going, but I don't know what it is. And we don't know how the books end. So we haven't read the books, but clearly there's more story. So it's not just going to be her for 4, 5 books. Right. So there's going to,
And also let's like root it more in story, right? Like her prime directive is to keep the Empire alive.
Yeah, which I believe of all the characters that say things in this episode, like when Dusk says like, "Oh, I don't have it within me," or whenever Dawn says like, "I'm going to ascend in however many days," or when anyone makes some sort of like declaration, when Harry says, "I'm going to come back," I don't believe any of these people, but I believe her when she says, "No, I love the Cleons, 100%. Heart and soul." She's like the one honest, authentic character that when she says something, I'm like, I'm not thinking of what is going to go wrong or different or whatever. I was like, no, she's not lying. She believes that and she's going to do that. Yeah. But she's not struggling with that. She's struggling with after. This is inevitable, she says. Which the big question is, I wrote down is like, is math inevitable? I don't know what that means. But because it's just math, right? It's not premonition. It's just prediction. It's through numbers. It's wild, which that's the whole point. It's a sci-fi concept. So it's not real. Like we haven't, but could we, this isn't Jim Carrey in 23, the numbers.
No, but I mean, the whole point of psychohistory, right? Yeah. In this fantasy novel, right? That like, sci-fi world that we are taking seriously right now is that like if you had enough data, if you did have enough data, it is like makes sense that you could make some sort of predictions about the path of populations, not a specific human being, not which way he's going to walk down the street, but what's going to happen on the scope of civilizations.
Why
that makes sense? I get that.
Sure.
That's all they're saying.
For a certain amount of time during Foundation, you have to wonder, like Harry Seldon and Gale are like the 2 people that have access to the Prime Radiant, the computer that can do all the calculations, make the predictions, do whatever it is, right? And read it and understand it. And you have to wonder, like, Harry says this with all these convictions, and I have to understand, like, how true is this? I'm sometimes on Empire's side. I was like, we don't know if he's lying, but then he gives the Radiant to someone else that can read it,
a clone of it, but
to a robot, right?
To Demerzel,
to Demerzel, and she's reading it, and she's like, no, this is true and this is inevitable.
She says she's ran the calculations 1 million times.
And why do you think he gave it to her? And it's one to like prove his thing, that he is telling the truth to someone,
right?
And then also, what is his end goal? Because you have to wonder, like, does he say this just so he can set up Foundation? Like, what? I never understand Harry, and I never know what he's wanting to do. And I feel like he has ulterior motives. No matter what, he keeps things secret. He keeps things close to his chest.
Yeah. Harry is frustrated.
He's so frustrating, and also like it's technically unreliable narrator, but then she says that it's true. But what does she actually like know as well? And like she doesn't seem to.
I don't think it's that. I don't think it's
so
about,
interesting.
I agree, it's interesting, but I don't think it's about what she knows. Right? I feel very confident in my prediction that I'm about to say, and even though it's vague.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
Harry gives it to Demerzel because once he knows something that when she sees it's true, she will act in a way that changes the course and is the major input that he needs to happen, right? I feel very confident of this. Then say it. Why would you give Demerzel the Prime Radiant? Because he knows that she's going to do something major, epic, drastic, that will eventually change things to the course that he's going for.
Do you think she's the third crisis?
Could be. Could be. I'm not saying that she isn't. I think very well could be.
You heard it here first, folks.
Even though these books have been around for 100 years.
No, probably.
Or 70 years,
well,
but yeah.
To be fair, they are changing things, so I don't know.
They are, actually. Yeah. Like, for real.
Because again, Empire, as far as I know, the genetic dynasty doesn't exist in the books.
Sure.
I think. I don't know. I probably should re-look into it, because from what I recall, one of the ways that they keep using the same actors is to introduce this idea of a genetic dynasty. So I don't know how much of that. But obviously the robot war and all that is very much part of the.
But I think it's the same shit, just as like in the Matrix, right?
Yeah.
When like Neo, is he the one or is he not the one? Oh, I guess you're not the one. Mm-hmm. Morpheus, you said I'm not the one, and it turns out I'm kind of the one. Did Morpheus actually think he wasn't the one? No, or it's not Morpheus, the Oracle, right? But the Oracle didn't actually believe that Neo wasn't the one.
Yeah.
The Oracle just said exactly what he needed to hear. I think it's the same shit with Harry giving Demerzel the fucking Prime Radiant. It's not actually that, oh, well, now she knows what's going to happen. It's like, no, Harry knows that she knows. And she's a fucking supercomputer robot. So obviously she's going to take some action to try and correct course. And that just happens to be the thing that Harry wants to happen. I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I have a feeling we're going to, in further therapy sessions, we're going to learn more and more about what is actually going on and how this is changing and how much she actually does love Empire or humanity. Because this is all goes down to the basic programming, right? Is we've learned through multiple ways the robots try to find new rules to figure out like what does the greater good mean?
Right.
Like her main programming right now is just protect the Empire, love the Empire, be the Empire. But her initial programming was protect humanity. And those conflict.
Yeah.
One negates, or whatever they say, one goes against the other law.
Yeah.
And even the laws that they talked about in terms of, is it the greater good, or is the trolley problem of like more humans versus some humans, right? Which they go through. There's a reason. Anytime I was reading another sci-fi book recently for book club, and they start off with a bunch of rules about clones and stuff, right? I was like, if you're going to start off with the rules, I know you're going to be breaking one of these, and which one is it, And so I'm curious which rules are going to take precedence, I
have no fucking idea.
Yeah. And so, yeah, that's a interesting say. And, what does it mean to outlive your programming? And I don't think she wants to. And can she prevent, by outliving one programming, go back to another programming? And I don't know. And I don't know what robots want, how purpose works with them. And we can get into AI intelligence or whatever, but I don't think this episode is the one to do that.
We still got some shit to get through. We got to wrap this up.
Yeah. We're final scenes is with, been a while.
Yeah.
We've finally going to see Brother Day and what he's been doing, preparing for ascension, as they say. He's been off camping and doing drugs. This is what I was suggesting earlier.
Yeah, dude. Also, bearded, long hair.
Also, finding clones of weird exotic animals and just bringing them to life.
Yeah, we got a llama and a ferret, I think.
Yeah, a ferret, a camel.
Dusk comes through. He's just like, is that a ferret? And then he's like, good God, or something like that. I'm like, which is kind of silly to me.
What's wrong with ferrets?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was kind of like, dude, like, if it was like a fucking hooded cobra or, I don't know, an 18-foot Nile crocodile, I'd be like, yeah, it's going to kill someone. What the fuck is wrong with a ferret? It's a cute little rodent animal. I'm like, why was that bad? What are they scared about? Rodents banned in Trantor?
The only thing I'll say about ferrets, I love ferrets. as like a personality trait.
But it was outside.
I volunteered in middle school at this place in my small town of Texas called Ponyland, which is just a place you can go to, like, petting zoo and then ride horses around in a circle.
Okay.
You know, and, you know, we had rabbits and ferrets and stuff to take care of, to kind of like bring out to play and do a little fence. And they smell.
Yeah, dude, I've heard ferrets smell.
Maybe that was it.
I had a phase. I think I was in like 5th grade where like I was like, oh, I want a pet ferret.
Yeah.
And I did like my research, right? This is like when it was hard to research shit like this because the internet was like barely existent.
Mm-hmm.
So like I think I ended up renting like VHS videotapes from my local library about ferrets. Yeah. Like how you can build structures in the climate. And the only thing I remember to this day, apparently they smell real bad.
Yeah,
real bad.
Absolutely. This has been Ferret Talk,
Brother
Codependent Content. I have a feeling we'll have Ferret Talk later on. So I hope you really like this segment. We'll bring it back to you.
Sign up for the Patreon.
On, you know,
we'll get you on the Ferret Talk.
That's what you're all here for: robots and ferrets.
What the fuck? I sincerely with this section, I do love that Day has like. You know, we got bearded Lee Pace with longer than usual hair, shirtless, just doing drugs,
navel-less, as they remind us.
Yeah,
you know,
just like hanging out, man, like being a hippie. It's kind of great.
Yeah, we're told he's preparing for ascension, and we find out that he's really preparing for nothing. Well, do nothing.
I mean, he's not preparing for ascension, though, right? He's preparing.
He is. He's preparing
for. Ascending into like
nothing,
dusk.
To do nothing.
Yeah, like he's retiring.
He doesn't want to do anything.
He's not dying.
He's like, I'm avoiding state secrets.
Yeah,
I'm no, I don't really give a shit about this.
Right.
Which is going to be super, super, super interesting when the ascension doesn't happen and now he has to care again. Right. Because that I feel like is going to piss Brother Dunn off so fucking much.
Or vice versa. Yeah. That Dusk is like, no, we can't do this. And he just goes, take it.
Yeah.
Take it, Dawn.
Oh my God.
Go die, Dusk.
But I don't think Dusk wants, I think he's glad to ascend if he doesn't have to deal with this day anymore.
I mean, and I think,
and I don't know what this day has had to deal with in terms of his life, but it feels like he's just kind of.
He's over it.
Yeah. Now, we know that this Dusk is the conciliator, right? So he's very peaceful minded. Yeah, so I'm assuming this current Day, because you get that name when you are a Day before you become Dusk, right? We assume that this Day inherited that peace and hasn't really been doing much with it in the 150 years. Like Foundation has taken 800 worlds. It's been expanding. And I don't know that this Brother Day has really been fighting any war, which is where it seems like Dawn has tried to pick up the reins of that. We can't have this happening anymore, you know? Again, I think that's on all fronts. Dusk and Dawn are not going to like this new Day when he has to remain Empire.
I mean, he's useless, right?
He's useless. He's not useless. He's leaning into indignity.
Yeah, he's the dude that everyone wants to party with.
Which, to be honest, new catchphrase, new motto of life. I'm going to also lean into indignity. That sounds like a lot of fun. This is why I wrote down the can't make bread without yeast or beer thing. Yeah, which I was like, for sure. And he's definitely been drinking, if anything. The interesting thing is when he has this conversation with Song, his, I don't know, concubine, that
bed buddy
they kind of mention is like
/ drug dealer. I think they allude to, they
say drug dealer, but then they also mention like, hey, there's a reason why we wipe memories of the concubines or whatever. And she's not that. And but he's also not caring about the secrets. I have a feeling
it's women in the Gossamer, right? There's like everyone in the Gossamer.
Yeah, Gossamer and secrets and whispers. Gossamer, but she understands him, is what he says, but she calls him a sad clown of a clone who hates his job. Mm-hmm. we do know that the Cleon dynasty has been genetically broken or faulty. I don't remember what the word they use since they started cloning.
I don't remember this
from the very beginning.
Tainted or something.
It's not. They're not exact clones. There's always something. And I feel like we're seeing like a bit of something in each one of these. This is, first of all, Lee Pace. Not much is being said about like the performance that he's putting in. He's a good actor. No one's talking about Foundation. I'm surprised because Lee Pace is just a draw.
He's incredible.
I think. Like, you know, and he's playing a different day than the first two seasons. This is a very different day than we see before.
Yep.
Someone who hates his job, doesn't give a shit, is ready to kind of like be dusk and just paint or, I don't know, weave something or make poems on the spot.
Or find clones of old extinct animals.
He's this very interesting.
Spoken
and this is
word
not
poetry.
This is not at all the days that we found. So good on Lee Pace for just finding a way to make each one very, very distinct. Yeah. I have at times been like on Empire's side. I've at times like hated him and just at times been like, I want to be your friend.
Last season 2 in particular, he's like so hateable.
He's very dictatorish.
And he's fascist, right? And it's like gross. And then he almost becomes like a spoiled brat. Like, you know, stop him, kill them now. Like it's like very like, oh, right. A power freak feeling like he's losing power. This is polar opposite, dude. He's just like, I'm getting stoned and laid. And I'm going to have some cool animals around while I do it.
Dude.
Like, it's literally just the 180. And it's awesome.
It's interesting. I'm curious, like, what song is actually going to be there for what she's hoping to accomplish here, because I don't think she's just a drug dealer. The fact that she does have, again, when a character says something, and I don't believe them, she calls him out on a whole bunch of things. She's brutally honest, which other days would never fucking accept.
Yes.
A sad clown of a clone, you'd be dead in an instant. But she has a comfortability with him. She can call it as it is. You know, she almost feels too comfortable here. But he says, you're in no danger with me. You're fine. Yeah. I love that you understand me. Yeah. He embraces it.
It's cool.
But I don't believe him.
Yeah.
Because he says that, but 10 days from now, again, when the ascension doesn't happen, it could, I keep saying this like it's a true thing, but it probably will. It might. I think it's not going to happen. Is she in danger? Does he have to become the day that we know and hate, right?
Yeah.
What does a sad clown of a clone do when he doesn't ascend into the dusk that he wants to be? I do not believe him when he says, you're not in danger from me.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about me. And especially because, again, when you tell me something with some sort of conviction in a show or movie, I have a tendency to think like, well, that's not gonna.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely.
That's gonna come back later, I'm sure. Yeah, I don't trust that. And that's because we have seen days be like very different before. And also I do kind of wonder, like, with this comfortability and what she knows and what he just now found out, like, what does he tell her and where is that going to go? That feels like it's going to come to a head at some point. Yeah. She can't be comfortable for too long here. So,
I mean, one, she's too comfortable. Two, she probably knows too much.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
I agree.
But I do love also just talking a little bit about just the creative details that go into this show and how very specific they are. I think I noticed that there's like some strands of gray hairs. Did you notice that as well? Like he's becoming
aging.
Yeah, he's becoming dusk already. You know, it's like these little details. You know, I think of like I'm thinking about like the ring around Trantor, which if I recall, I was gonna look this up, but like there wasn't a ring around Trantor, but there is now because there was a whole tower that exploded in the first season, you know?
One, yeah.
So I think that was made by that. I might not be wrong, but like the fact is like, where do you have to be thinking about like, where do you place the moon in the sky whenever it's there, right? And there's like all these little things like taking out the navel, you know, there's so many like little details. And I love that little detail of putting like the gray in his hair to like show like he really is kind of becoming like Brother Dusk, and it's a little different, you know? So just a fun thing that like the creators seem to care a lot about the thing that they're making, and nothing gets overlooked.
Yeah, I agree.
He is. I talked about he's a poet. He enjoys. He's different. Brother Day. Just real quick before we get to the very end, let's go through this poem.
Oh, okay.
Poor beast brought forth by human hands, to walk these floors instead of sands. Friend, do we have what makes one whole? For when the master makes demands, we poor beasts bow and make new plans. I don't really have anything, but on the offset, I guess. But I think that who are the beasts? Who are the masters in this poem? Obviously, there's the camel and there's him, but he's talking about he's just a clone. He's just himself. Who's the master of him, right? Who, besides himself, like who made him? Is he the poor beast that was brought forth by human hands? And when the master makes demands, does he make...
I mean, he is.
He bows and he makes new plans. It's that last line is so interesting because it's like you bow and you make new plans. It's like, no, you don't. That seems contradictory. Where when the master says something, you bow like you're going to do it, but you make new plans.
Because it's changing what you were doing.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's because, you know, when the master tells you, it's like, oh, okay, this is my new directive. This is my new course of action.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think it's interesting because, I mean, yeah, look, it both sounds like what happens to citizens when Empire makes a decision, right? You're just a pawn. Mm-hmm. But also it's like, I'm sure that's how he feels with Demerzel. Right?
Well, I think he definitely feels like he himself is just some sort of pawn. Like he's just
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that he's just a beast, right? You think she's the master?
Yeah, dude, she calls the shots.
Yeah. Do you think he knows that or he thinks that? Because again, their memory gets erased. Like, what does he actually know? She's just a caretaker.
I think that they're alluding to like just an increasingly tense relationship with the Cleons and her. Mm-hmm. I feel like this episode has like, right? This is why Demerzel is like having her little courtyard confessions with what's her face, because like I think that like there's starting to be, I mean, how do you not notice this, right?
There's just a lot of things that I feel like the interpretation of the poem could be so many different things, which is very interesting. Yeah. And it's not that I
just mean like, you know, we've had 17 Cleons and she's always here.
That they should know. They start
noticing no matter how much.
Well, they did, right? They
have,
and
they for sure have,
and she decants a new one.
She snipped them. Yep. But even then, it's like, oh, and there's just been this woman who's always here.
Do you think? I know that they kind of show and allude this. Do you think that the Cleon that we saw last season that discovered her secret was the first time that happened?
Honestly, no.
Like Groundhog Day, right? Like when you assume that this has happened before because she lives forever.
They've all discovered it.
Yeah.
I think they've all discovered it.
You think all of them? I don't. Well, we've seen. I don't think so.
I mean, the first one we know.
That'd be interesting. Well, the first one is the one that brought her to the life in the first place, right? So he knew everything.
Yep. You don't think that you even mention it or tell them, you know?
I don't know his whole deal. Yeah. It's just interesting. I love that. I think clearly he struggles with the idea that he's a clone, and there's something to the, it's such a very thrown away like poem. I think it's supposed to be at first meant to be like a bad poem, but then like you look into it deeper, like what he's speaking about. It's like to walk these floors instead of sands, alluding to the fact that like this camel is supposed to be somewhere else.
Yeah.
And so again, for him, speaking of himself instead of the camel, what are the sands for him? Where is he supposed to be? What is his purpose? And so it brings me back to the very fucking beginning, where every Cleon talks about or thinks like, are they the one that will end the line, or are they the ones that will save it?
Yeah.
I have a feeling that this Cleon is the one that is thinking about ending the line. That he's not supposed to be here. These are not the sands that he's supposed to walk. That he is, people are making demands of him, whether it's Demerzel or other things. And he just like goes along with it, that he is nothing more than a pawn, just like all of humanity is like just kind of pawns playing this like mathematical game. Like that there's Harry and there's the Mule, and then there's the Empire that are kind of toying. It's like they have these worlds, we have their worlds, you know, and all this kind of stuff. But it's all very broad and it's all humanity. It's all about greater good. There's no individuality there, right? And he, as most of us, is thinking about like, it's like he's kind of done with that. He's like, he feels like, oh, I'm just another pawn as well in the same game as Cleon the First, if that's the master.
Yeah.
They have been programmed just like Demerzel. I don't think Demerzel's a master. I think they've been programmed just like Demerzel to believe and love the dynasty and just do that kind of thing. And I think he's feeling like that the master, that Cleon the First, is running that game, and he's just another pawn in that he's not supposed to be doing that.
I agree with that part of what you're saying. I just also think that like a big theme of season 2 was Day being like, maybe the genetic dynasty isn't beneficial and that change and evolution is good and necessary. That's the whole point of Day in season 2 being like, I'm going to take a wife.
Yeah,
I'm going to have kids.
True.
I'm going to have kids. Mm-hmm. The genetic dynasty is stale. We don't evolve. We don't change. And it's weak. It's soulless, right? So regardless of whether we know that this Day is the same one or not as the last one, I still am not exactly sure. But I do think that like Day in general, right? Generationally is starting to look at the dynasty and be like, I'm uncertain if this is the best path.
Here's the thing. All these characters, we got Demerzel thinking about the inevitability. And I think Day is kind of thinking about this as well. And I think, again, the red herring of the traitors and whatever being the third crisis, I think it really is going to be whatever Day and Demerzel, in conjunction with their storylines combined, kind of colliding, right?
Yeah.
And probably a little, you know, the Mule and all that kind of stuff. It's all going to kind of collide to become that third crisis. As you mentioned, or what we thought, it was like possibly the idea that Demerzel is really the third crisis. And I think it really, it does feel like that Day is kind of careening towards that as well.
Sure.
Because that was a plot point in season 2.
Yeah.
But I do think that this is a different way. It's not just because he was still clinging on to Empire and the dynasty, but just differently.
Yeah.
He was still selfishly like wanting to do things his own way, right? And also like he wasn't doing it out of love or whatever. That was like Brother Don loved this potential wife, right? And I think that this day is literally thinking that it needs to end, period.
Yeah.
That it doesn't need to be. I don't know. I really don't know, but it feels like he's like done with it altogether, and he's going to be done with it altogether. Mm-hmm. And what is he going to bring about whenever that comes to a head? That's just what I'm.
Okay.
In 4 months' time.
Yeah.
Apparently, sure. As we've learned, as we've set out.
Or in about 9 weeks.
Yeah, he flips them off too with like his pinky, which is an interesting.
I didn't know what that was at all, by the way.
I think it's just sci-fi.
That's flipping you off.
Here you go, guys.
The middle finger became
it has to be.
Middle finger became. I guess
it has. And the way that he did it is just like that's
Get in the comments. What do we miss? What's in the book about the pinky finger? I want to know.
I don't know if it's in there. Wow. I said I had nothing to say about that poem, but then I had a lot more to say.
No, you had a lot to say.
I knew there was something there. Which is why I wrote it down. Sure. Sometimes you never know until you write something down. That's like there's something here. That's episode 1. Of season 3, the song for the end of everything, a song for the end of everything. I don't know what this song is. I don't know if it's that poem. Is that the beginning of the song? Who knows? Ferret talk. Is there anything more as we wrap up this talk of the first episode of Foundation? Anything more that you want to talk about that you want to say? Anticipation of what's coming. I don't know if there wasn't a next on episode. I don't recall. Maybe I just missed it, but I also didn't pay attention.
I don't watch those intentionally.
Yeah.
But so I don't know if there was or not. But there's so much I could talk about. Right. I think part of the reason I dig stuff like this is because big questions about like, okay, you get a mathematical equation that allows you to predict the future of a large group of people. So what do you do? Or you have a robot that is perfectly programmed to like figure out how to best lead an empire. Do you let it or not? I love these questions. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. But for today, no, I don't. I think, Jesus, we've said plenty. But yeah, I think that there's a handful of little like, wait a minute. If you can do this in this world, then can you do this kind of things?
Yeah.
Let's save this for another episode, maybe when we have less to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you have stuff that you're curious about like that, I'd love to hear it from you. I mean, this is like, one of the fun parts about dealing with these huge, fantastic ideas and scenarios is like, there's always loopholes.
Yeah.
And part of the interesting part about talking to them is then like, you bring it up and you're like, this part doesn't make any sense then.
Yeah.
And then someone else is like, oh, I thought it just meant that then this. And you're like, oh, that's fascinating too. So yeah, I like talking about it.
Yeah. The thing I love I just love sci-fi in general.
Yeah.
I love that this gives us like new concepts like every week that basically most of our discussion was just kind of like also catching up on like we haven't had anyone to talk about these like high concept things for a while. So we'll see. And of course I felt like people who say they like love sci-fi like it, but no one's watching like Apple TV or Foundation. I could not find anyone that was watching. I had to tell you to like watch this if we wanted to like talk about it.
I've had the same experience at work. I work with a bunch of different people and I live in LA. There's tons of TV watchers, actors, writers, whatever. And yeah. I think almost every single person I've talked to being like, oh yeah, I'm watching this show. I'm going to do a couple episodes of the podcast about season 3. It's coming out this week. I've been like, what's it called? What's it on? And I'm like, oh wow. Yeah, no, the show is oddly under the radar. I think it's really fun.
Yeah. I think this season will probably get bigger. Hopefully, by talking about it and putting on TikTok, that'll get, knock on wood, that'll get pretty big.
Yeah.
Or in the zeitgeist. And I'm hoping that you guys are discovering this with us and enjoying this. If you haven't been watching it, I'm curious if any of these concepts as well have just kind of gone over your head, or if you're enjoying it, or if you've enjoyed our discussion. This is one of those things where it's like, I don't even know how to begin talking about Foundation, but we just got to do it because I just love it. Yeah. I think last season we were talking about something else. 2 years ago when I was doing the podcast, we were talking about something else and Foundation started. I was like, man, I really wish we were talking about Foundation right now, because I was like, I could only have room for like one show. So I was like, no, I am watching Foundation. I don't care what else is coming out. I know like Alien Earth is coming out and so many other things. It's like, I have to talk about this show. And I'm so glad we got to do it. I'm so glad you could catch up and join me on this. This is like so much fun. And I know it's a lot of information and a lot of glossary terms, but we'll get through it. I think we'll eventually figure out, we'll be experts on Foundation by the end of this season. We're going to know everything.
Obviously. I mean, it's Game of Thrones in space. There's a lot of characters. There's a lot of potential.
But this came first.
It came a long time before, right?
Yeah.
But it's not, it's not two characters walking down a road for a couple years. It's galactic.
I feel like if you watched and liked The Expanse, which a lot of people have, I feel like you would love Foundation.
Agree.
It's a lot of heavy concepts. It's really hard to connect to characters because it's such an over expanding show. And it's again, we get new characters almost every season, but they found a way to bring back old characters and keep the stories kind of going. So you have things to like latch on to while also talking about these broad humanity changing concepts. I think it's wild. I think it's great. I think this is like some golden age sci-fi that people are missing out on. But
Agree. Totally.
If you enjoyed listening to us talking about it, please email us. Tell us what you want to. Please tell us how stupid we are too.
Go ahead.
If we missed fucking anything,
get in here.
All the things.
Bring it on.
Like, what's this happen? What is I gonna? I have a lot of editing to do to figure out. But yeah, it's great to be back. We got another 9 weeks of this, supposedly. Hopefully they're not all 3 hours long, but hey, that's just how trauma goes, I guess.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Will you be here next week to let me unburden myself?
Yeah, I'll be here.
Oh, great. Thank you. Thank you, guys. We'll see y'all next one.
Take it easy.
Thank you for listening to Codependent Content. For updates, you can follow us on social media. And if you ever want to see a video version of this podcast, feel free to check us out on YouTube or Spotify. If you have any questions or simply want to tell us about something we missed, you can email us at codependentcontent@gmail.com, or just leave a comment on TikTok and we'll get back to you. Links to all our accounts, where to contact us, or other ways to support will be in the description or show notes. We're glad you're here and working through your traumas with us. Remember, when you're lost in the darkness, search for the light. Live long and prosper, and may the force be with you. Until the next session, cowabunga, dudes.